What's good, people? Let's talk business. We're going to talk about graphic design, illustration, and overall, we're going to talk about some branding. Branding in regards to your business. So, as some of you might know, I am qualified to speak on this because I have the credentials to speak on it. If y'all want to see my credentials, you can just go on my website. They're right there. So I'm not going to spend too much time qualifying myself, because if you go to my website, everything's laid out for you. Everything's laid out for you. What some of you need to know, and when I say some of you, I'm referring to the small businesses out there. Your business will die if it is not professionally creative enough to offer something unique. Let's talk professional design. Yeah, there's design, and then there's professional design. See, professional design makes way for consistently powerful branding. I'm gonna say it again. Professional design makes way for consistently powerful branding. Think about Starbucks. Think about McDonald's. Think about Apple. Think about any significant company out there, and you will most certainly see their branding. Their branding will be blatantly obvious. A great visual brand not only allows you to communicate your message and connect to your customers, but it will leave an enduring impression. Investing in professional graphic design is one of the ways to create quality brand identification and visibility. Professional graphic design is what will guarantee that your company has a consistently powerful brand. I would say consistently powerful, and I would say powerfully consistent. Now, in regards to your products and or services, what you offer has to be unique, especially in these days and times, with this type of economy. What you offer has to be unique. I think this should go without saying, but creativity is an important aspect of graphic design. Creativity is what gives companies like Nike, Coca-Cola, and Amazon their unique identity and brand personality. Now, unfortunately, with the advent of the internet, you have social media sites like Pinterest, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, or whatever else is out there that allows people to utilize templates, so to speak. And they're using apps like Canva as well to create art. These apps allow anyone who's not a professional to create art. So we're in a time where the lines are getting blurred. The lines between amateur and professional has gotten blurred, because now people can just bypass the professional and they can just use templates and cookie cutter methods to create their own brand identity. And this is not to knock these social media sites or apps or whatever, because at the end of the day, they all have their purpose. Whether we like it or not, that's a whole nother thing. But they all have their purpose. They all serve their purpose in some way or another. But let's be real. We have these smartphones where we can take pictures and we can put on all kinds of filters, edit the photo in any kind of way in order to tweak the look of the photo, in order to make the photo or photos look a certain way. You can take photos with that same smartphone and you can upload them to Instagram, and you could just slap on a filter in order to change the look of that photo or photos. Now, anybody can do this and claim to be a photographer, but photographers have to do way more to create quality photos. Unfortunately, all of that has been bypassed because of many different apps out there, in addition to social media. So that's just the reality, and it's a reality that we have to acknowledge and just deal with. I'll just say that if a business wants to be taken seriously, then they're gonna really need to think about how they approach their art. And when I say their art, I'm talking about their branding, their brand identity. They're gonna have to seriously consider how they're going to build their brand with quality visuals. Yeah, it's easy to bypass spending thousands of dollars on quality work, but you got to ask yourself, are you playing the long game or are you playing the short game? Are you running a marathon or are you running a sprint? These are just some things you got to think about. As a business, these are things you got to ask yourself. And this is in regards to the small businesses. The big businesses, they already got it locked. They know what they're doing. They're doing their own thing. They out here. They've been out here. So this is for the small businesses. Now let's talk graphic design. People hear that term fairly often, but a lot of times people who aren't involved in it in any kind of way, they have an idea of what it means, but then they really don't know. And I've seen this many times, because if somebody asks me what I do and I say graphic design, they're just like, okay, that's great. You do graphic design, but I mean, what do you do? That's pretty much what I get, or what I've gotten in the past. And I'm sure other graphic designers have gotten that response as well. So let's define graphic design. In a nutshell, graphic design is the professional art of solving problems and communicating ideas. Solving problems and communicating ideas through the use of visual compositions. Visual compositions such as images, typography, color, appearance, and form. The main focus of graphic design is to communicate to a target audience. Typically, graphic designers are directed by branding and marketing strategies, not simply stories and text. Stories and text can play a part, but it's really about branding and marketing strategies. Okay, so let's switch to graphic illustration, something that probably isn't as popular as graphic design. See, the thing is, when people think of illustration, they just think of illustration by itself. They don't think of something called graphic illustration. And that's something I do. That's something I specialize in. Graphic illustration. Really, I specialize in illustration, but I have my degree in graphic design, and me being more of a illustrator, doing fine art and things along those lines, I combine that skill with my knowledge and my skill in graphic design, and I just do graphic illustration. So it's like a combination of the two. It's a combination of graphic design and illustration. But I'll define graphic illustration a bit more. Graphic illustration is really just fine art and communication blended into one. That's really it. A combination of illustration and graphic design, a combination of communication and fine art. That's graphic illustration right there. Now, the difference between graphic design and graphic illustration is the fact that graphic design focuses more on communication, while graphic illustration focuses more on fine art. While graphic design is more so focused on the communication aspect, graphic illustration is more so focused on creative interpretation. Graphic design starts with visual identity to communicate a brand through the use of personality, story, and emotion. A visual identity is used to communicate a brand's personality, story, and emotion through logos, typography, color palettes, style guidelines, and images. All of those are put into use to make sure that there's consistency throughout all designs. On the other hand, graphic illustration is used to express ideas visually, selling products, clarifying concepts, promoting, and educating. Some examples could be fabrics, books, flyers, ads, posters, packaging, and websites. As you all know, we live in a world of capitalism. We live in a capitalistic society. So modern businesses are getting increasingly competitive. And it doesn't matter what niche or industry you belong to. You have competitors. And your competitors are always trying to outshine you. Because remember, it's about the almighty dollar. So those companies that are trying to outshine you, yeah, they might have a superior product and or service, or maybe not so much, but they will most likely have superior branding. If they're not superior in one area, they're gonna be superior in another. And if they're really like that, then they're superior in all areas, or most. But that's in the eye of the beholder, or in this case, the customer. Whatever you're doing, there's a lot of other people, a lot of other businesses doing it already. So as a business on the come up, you got to figure out how to stand out. And it's a struggle. I already know this. I already know this because I'm out there competing as well. And it's a struggle to be able to make yourself stand out. But this is the world we live in. And the competitiveness, the oversaturatedness, I know that's not a word, but follow me. Follow me. Yeah, the oversaturatedness or oversaturation for the sticklers out there. It's just for the noisiness. I mean, it's just getting more competitive, more oversaturated, and more noisy, among other things. With all of that being said, your marketing is important. Your visual marketing is important. That's what separates the amateurs from the professionals, the fake from the real. Your visual marketing is what creates that separation. Of course, having a great product and or service is very important. I don't want to make it seem like you could just have an inferior product and or service and just have this great visual marketing. I don't want to do that now. Ideally, you want both a great visual marketing and branding and great products and services. That's what you want to have. That's what's ideal. Your visual marketing and branding is what tells your story. And if those things fail, then you failed to tell your story. And if your visual marketing and branding isn't where it needs to be, then that means you fail to connect with your customers or your clients. People connect with visuals more than they connect with words. Your visual marketing can help your brand, your business grow at a faster pace. Those are things that are part of your business marketing strategy. I mean, let's think of something like a website, for example. People are more likely to stay on your website if it's visually appealing. But of course, it needs to function properly. Let's talk about websites real quick. In regards to your website, quality visuals is what's going to keep people on your website longer. And of course, the time that it takes to load up is extremely important, because if that website doesn't load up within 2 seconds or less, people are gone. It doesn't even matter how great your website might look. It doesn't matter how great your products are, how great your services are. If that website doesn't load up fast enough, people are gone. So that's a potential customer gone. That's a potential client gone. So the load time is extremely important. But once you got that covered, the visuals, and of course what you're offering, is what's going to keep people on your website longer. The visuals is still a key aspect. Great illustration and design on products, packaging, and presentations leave a firm imprint on people's minds. When a firm imprint is left on people's minds, it leaves an impression, and that impression is what can usually help to convert those people into customers or clients. See, a professionally done graphic illustration or a professionally done graphic design helps to explain your brand story. It's going to effectively communicate the who's, the what's, the where's, the why's, the when's, and the how's. When it comes to those things, people will be visually stimulated by the right aesthetics. Being visually stimulated by the right aesthetics keeps them in there a little bit longer. On some level, I can see how that might sound frivolous, but it's actually important. Visuals are very important. quality visuals are important. Graphic design and graphic illustration done by professionals as opposed to non-professionals is what your business needs. Because that is what's going to help your business truly grow and stick out in a noisy market, stick out in a oversaturated market, stick out in a highly competitive market. Your visual brand identity, your visual brand marketing, your visual branding, all of that is what's going to help your business stand out. Because let's be real, there's nothing original out there. Nobody's offering or selling anything original. We're all selling the same thing in one way or another. It's your brand that separates you from other brands. Not necessarily what you're selling. It's your brand that is going to make people decide whether they want to do business with you or if they want to do business with somebody else. I mean, think of it like this. There's a ton of computers out there. People can go anywhere to get a computer. But why would somebody want to go to Apple instead of just going to Staples or Best Buy or any other place that sells computers? Why would a person bypass those places in order to go to Apple? Now, some people could say that Apple has the more superior computer. I'm not going to argue against that, but that's what some people could say, that Apple has the more superior computer. But I would also say that their visual branding helps too. We could talk about the logo, we could talk about the packaging, and even the store. We could touch on the store too. Because when you step inside of an Apple store, you know you're in an Apple store. You know you're shopping with Apple. Yeah, you can go to Best Buy, you can go to Staples, you can go to other places that sell computers, and they sell different types of computers. But going into the Apple store, that's a whole different experience. And I would say that the visual branding is a big part of that. And in addition to the branding, it's an experience. It's an experience. It's an experience for people that step into that store. So just wanted to talk on visuals real quick. Wanted to define graphic design, define graphic illustration, and why those things need to be done by professionals. And I'm talking about professionals with credentials and experience. Credentials, even if they don't have the piece of paper, that's one thing. But experience, I think, will qualify somebody to be a professional. The quality of their work, their portfolio, all of that. Just wanted to give my take on all of that. I hope this helps some of the businesses out there who maybe feel that they need help in the area of branding. I hope this video has been helpful to you. And if so, great. If not, hey, we're all entitled to an opinion. And for the businesses out there who need help in branding, I'm here. All my contact info is available. Get in contact with me. We can do a consultation. And then we can go from there. So on that note, I wish you all success and prosperity.